The entire town walked past Dina Thompson like she was invisible, until one wronged waitress decided to stand back up. And on a quiet Tuesday morning, the same diner that threw her out would drown in the thunder of motorcycle engines. No one knew what was coming. Not her boss. Not her coworkers. Not even Dina herself. But one act of kindness had already set things in motion. A kindness she was punished for. Dina Thompson was a 27-year-old single mother working double shifts at Riley's Diner, a small-town restaurant where the coffee was cheap, the tips were unpredictable, and the smiles were often forced. She didn't love her job, but she needed it. Her 6-year-old daughter, Mia, had asthma, and medication didn't come free. It was a cold Monday when 6 leather-clad bikers walked into Riley's. The chatter in the diner dropped instantly. Forks froze midair. A group of elderly regulars whispered in disgust. Even the manager, Carol, peeked nervously from the counter. "Dina, don't go near them," muttered Jenny, another waitress. "Those bikers belong to a gang. They'll leave without paying." But Dina didn't judge. Instead, she forced a smile, walked up to their table and said, "Good morning, gentlemen. What can I get you?" To her surprise, the men weren't rude or loud. One of them, a bearded man named Stone, smiled softly. "You're the first person today who's treated us like humans," he said quietly. "Thank you." They ordered big: burgers, fries, pies, endless refills. Dina served them without hesitation, even cracking jokes. But when she turned around from clearing their plates, Carol stormed toward her like a thundercloud. "What do you think you're doing?" she hissed. "Serving customers," Dina replied, confused. "Not those customers," Carol snapped. "They scare away good people. Go tell them to leave." Dina's stomach tightened. "With all due respect, they've been polite. They already ordered," she said firmly. Carol's eyes narrowed. "Either you kick them out or you're done here." The bikers overheard. Stone looked at Dina, then at the manager. Before she could respond, Carol grabbed Dina's apron and ripped it off. "You're fired, get out." Dead silence. Dina's eyes watered, but she refused to cry. She picked up her things and walked outside with her head high. What she didn't notice was Stone standing at the window, watching her leave. The next morning, Dina was sitting on her porch, exhausted and scared, unemployed, rent due, Mia still asleep inside. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Be ready at 9 a.m. Wear something warm." Before she could ask who it was, she heard it. A distant rumble. Then louder and louder until the windows shook. She stepped outside and froze. Over 50 motorcycles were rolling down her street. Leading them was Stone. The entire block stopped to stare. Stone parked in front of her house and removed his helmet. "You stood up for us when no one else did," he said, "so today we stand up for you." He handed her a leather jacket with the words, "Honorary Sister, Iron Heart's Brotherhood." Her jaw dropped. "Why are you here?" she whispered. Stone smiled. "To fix something broken." They escorted her back to Riley's Diner. 50 roaring bikes lined up in front of the restaurant like an army. The townspeople watched from windows, recording on phones. Carol rushed outside, pale as a ghost. Stone stepped forward. "You fired the only decent soul in your building," he said calmly. "Today, we give her business you never would." He turned to Dina. "You ready?" She blinked. "Ready for what?" Stone pointed across the street, a "for rent" sign on an empty cafe building. "We already paid the deposit," he said. "It's yours. You feed people, we'll handle the rest." Dina covered her mouth, tears finally falling. The bikers roared in approval. Carol stood frozen, powerless. Kindness is never weakness. It may not be repaid instantly, but one day it returns like thunder. Dina's story spread far beyond her small town. News outlets called it the biker redemption. Her cafe opened 2 months later under the name Second Chance's Diner. And every morning, before the doors opened, you could hear engines in the distance. Because respect once earned is never forgotten.